classified as a first felony offender. Offense, aggravated incest. Sentencing date, October 24th, 2011. Sentenced to a total of 15 years. Parole date, March 8th, 2016. Good time, not eligible. Full term, March 9th, 2026. Is this information correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Renata.
Good morning, Mr. SCADLOck.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
My name is Cheryl Renatza. Your case has been assigned to me, so I'll be asking you some questions first.
Okay.
So this is not your first parole hearing, is that right?
No, ma'am, it's not. I went up and I think it was the first, like January of 16. They shipped us from here to Tensaw, but they didn't ship no paperwork. And they pulled me out of Tensaw like 2 weeks after I got there and brought me to Alexandria for parole here. And I didn't have no one, it's like,
Right.
work.
Yeah. Well, so first of all, let me, just for the record, sir, how old are you?
I'll be 58 this year, 57.
You're 57 now?
Yes, ma'am.
And how long have you been incarcerated?
This here's my 11th year that I'm credited for, but I did like almost a whole year in parish that I didn't get no time for.
Okay, so you've been credited for 11 years of your 15-year sentence.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the reason that and it looks to me like you appeared before a parole panel back in October of 2015.
Yeah,
and the reason on the record, the reason you were denied was there was strong victim opposition, there was law enforcement opposition, and you didn't have programs, specifically sex offender treatment. Have you been able to get that program since then?
I did all the programs that's available to me at this facility. Plus, I took it a step more to myself to educate myself and further rehabilitate myself through correspondence courses. And I understand about the PENDA course. To have one back home in New Iberia, which I plan on voluntarily taking, even if it's not like a requirement.
So you have not been able to take sex offender treatment?
With the courses I did take here, the classes, it did pertain to sexual abuse and stuff like that. Like in
what classes?
Living in balance. They have a section in there for sexual abuse, sexual addiction. My tongue's tied. Different things pertaining to that. I also Celebrate Recovery had a little section on it too about the same thing on both of them.
So you have a substance abuse problem?
No, ma'am. I don't drink, don't do drugs.
Never have?
Well, when I was a teenager, I drank, but no, I never hit like,
So just once again, you've not been able to take the class specifically sex offender treatment.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, as I noted in my notes as I was reviewing the record, I made a note, alcohol addiction. Now, how would I have found that through the record when you say you didn't drink as an adult?
Well, when I was like in 18, 19, I had a little habit with Bacardi rum, but I never really once my son was born, I laid it down. I didn't have to get no treatment or anything, but like a normal teenager on weekends, we like to go out drinking in the bars and stuff. And looking back from when I got older, like versus someone else, I felt myself that I overdrank, overindulged, but I never actually had a problem putting it down.
Okay, so in this case, the reason we're here today, the crime that was committed, it shows that this one count of aggravated incest, but I believe there was the record indicates there may have been multiple victims,
No, ma'am.
and that the victims' ages was between the ages of 8 and 15.
No, ma'am. There was no.
No? So the victim was your biological daughter?
That still remains, my wife, we was dating, she was pregnant, but she was dating someone else. We never had no blood tests or paternity tests. But I claimed her as my daughter and raised.
So the answer would be she's your daughter. Maybe not biological, but she is your daughter. And this occurred over a period of time.
Yes, ma'am.
And you've been in jail, you said 11 years, so you were in your 40s when this occurred?
I believe so. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to be honest with you based on that and the fact that you say you didn't drink, you didn't do drugs, you haven't had the sex offender treatment. I'm going to just sit back and listen to hear what you and others have to say before I make my decision. Thank you, Mr. SCADLOCK. Mr. Chairman, I have nothing else.
All right, we'll hear from Ms. Pamela now.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
I'm here on behalf of Kenneth. I believe he has served his time. He has done multiple courses. He's gotten his GED. He's gotten multiple recognition. He's been a good service inmate. Doesn't cause any trouble. We've always had excellent rapport with him. We usually try to help and take care of Kenneth. And should he be allowed to come out, we will help to secure a place for him to live. And we will be monitoring Kenneth as well.
All right.
I don't know what else I can say other than, with all the things he has done, he has stepped up. He's done a lot. He's taken multiple courses. He's come a long way. He really has.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for your comment.
All right.
We'll hear from Mr. Mark now. Mr. Mark Richardson. On mute.
There you
still.
go.
There you go.
Are you? There you go.
I
I'm
can hear you
sorry.
now.
Yes, sir. I tried to do the video as well, but it says it has been blocked by the people on that end. So, but I'm the chaplain here at Concordia Parish. Kenneth SCADLOCK has been working with me personally. He's my personal assistant and helper for the past 5 years. And I've just watched him grow, as a Christian. I don't know all the details of what he did 11 years ago. I know what he has told me, but what I can say is what I have seen with my own eyes here in this facility. Not only myself, but my warden has written recommendations for his parole, as well as the chief of security here, as well as the lieutenant at this facility. And he has, as he has testified himself, as well as his sister-in-law, has completed more courses than anybody I've ever seen. I've been the chaplain here for 24 years. I've never done this for anybody before. And I don't see myself doing it again, except under, special circumstances. He's gone through 240 courses. He is in the Louisiana Baptist College over in Alexandria, doing correspondence courses to gain his bachelor's degree and hopefully a master's degree, and is looking hopefully to go into the ministry himself one day. And all I can say is that he has been a absolute perfect inmate while he's been here at this facility.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Right now we'll hear from Miss Bonnie. Okay, go ahead.
Hello.
Okay, hey, yeah, we can hear you now, Miss Bonnie.
Huh? No.
Hey, we can hear you, Miss Bonnie. We can hear you. Go ahead and make your statement.
Okay, for him to actually admit that he is not my father, I've wished it my whole life. I definitely wished it my whole life. Unfortunately, that's definitely not true. He's made my life complete hell. And to even be part of this hearing, it's earth-shattering. Where his family is trying to move him to is currently 3 blocks from a house that I just purchased. So if y'all parole him, the man that made my life complete hell, from me being 8 years old to practically a teenager moving out, will live 3 blocks from me and my daughter. He hasn't taken any of the classes. He's not sorry for what he did. The only reason he'll say he's sorry because he's fake and he knows how to manipulate people. I'm not his only victim. I'm the only victim he took the plea bargain for. There's girls that still fight with every demon he put on them every single day. They still go to counseling. I may have dealt with it, but there's so many who hasn't. And we all definitely deserve for him to spend his full 15-year sentence behind bars.
All right. All right. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. We'll hear from next. Is that Miss Stormy?
Yes. And
Go
no,
ahead.
he needs to spend his time because of what he done to my niece, Bonnie, and my daughter, Caitlin Dupree, which he has still not said anything. He has not acknowledged what he put my daughter through. He put my daughter through hell. He put us through hell. We did not know if my daughter was going to actually commit suicide or not. She's been in and out of mental institutions her whole high school years. We never knew what was going to happen. And I feel he needs to spend his whole time in
Yes.
prison. I think it would
Yes,
be
ma'am.
hard for my daughter and my niece if he was to be out soon when they're still suffering with it. And thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am. Thank you. All right. Now we'll hear from Miss Katie.
Hello. For the last
Hey.
11 years since he has been behind bars, I have been able to walk into a grocery store and not look over my shoulder or fear running into him. I deserve to have that for the rest of my life. And though he denies the allegation, though he denies what he has put me through, there are statements in court record as well documented through my mental health file and the extended time that I spent there and the multiple treatments that I had to go through because of his actions that he chose to make. According to counseling.org, childhood sex abuse is currently related with high depression, guilt, shame, self-blame, eating disorders, anxiety, as well as diseases such as fibromyalgia, which I have been diagnosed with. There's research by the ncbi.nlm.nih.gov that fact that victims of early childhood sexual abuse are likely to develop fibromyalgia. He may be able to argue that he will have supervision, but those who claim that will supervise him were around the corner across the street when the initial crime took place. So if they were unable to supervise him then, how will they supervise him now? And sentencing in sexual offense crimes lacks equality of justice in nature, stating that an individual can spend such an amount of time in prison that for a crime that they committed on their court that directly affects the well-being of another individual. It's unsatisfying. 15 years is unsatisfying. Being released on parole is unsatisfying, and it is unjust for us to have to
Yes, ma'am.
live our lives looking over our shoulder, to have to wonder if there is going to be another victim. We have the right to have the peace of mind knowing he is where he belongs. past the duration of whatever sentencing he has.
Katie's taking and talking for everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your comment. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right. Would you like to make a statement on your behalf, Kenneth?
Yes, I would. There was only
Okay, go ahead
one,
and speak to the board.
there was only one victim, and that was my daughter Bonnie. Katie Lynn and her family, they are known as psychopathic liars, especially her dad. And I believe she's blaming me for something her dad did. And I know for a fact, I went to the police a few times that it is logged in the Morgan City Police Department where her dad burnt 2 houses down for insurance money. And
Well,
they,
we're here. Look, we're here to talk about you. We're here to talk about.
I had,
Listen, Kenneth, we're here to talk for you to tell us why you want to get released. We're not here to try the other situations. So why you want to be released?
my desire is the house, I want to get released where I can further my studies in university, and I plan on, my ultimate goal is to return up here, relocate to the Faraday area and become associate pastor and come into as a volunteer in the prison system. I am going to work toward my master's in psychology and counseling, that maybe with what I went through in my life, I could help some of the younger guys turn their lives around as I turned mine around. And I have been faithfully here working in many areas, from tutoring, GED, and helping guys with literacy problems and so forth. And the only reason I'm going home is basically to get on my feet. And once I get financially stable, I could, on my own. And like Chap, he welcomed me back to come in here as a volunteer in the prison ministry. And there's other opportunities for employment up in this general area, and maybe become associate pastor in a church where I could do some good instead of so much harm. And
All right.
I did turn my life around. I know saying it is not the same thing, but you're going to have to see it to believe it. And I know how far that goes to see something when you get so much negativity. Then to say, well, we, especially y'all guys, y'all see so much, y'all hear so much, and it's like wind going through the wall with the return rate here in the prison system. Even when I first got sentenced, doing time, people leaving, then 3 or 4 months coming back, put check or whatever they call it. And it's like, God, do something. Let's make a positive. Let's make a change. This cycle cannot go on. And that's my goal.
Okay.
And like my brother, they gonna put me across town. I'm not no 3 blocks.
Right.
I'm completely across town on my grandmother's lot. They're gonna put me a trail all the house, and I'm gonna be interacting with my brother and my sister-in-law. He's employing me till I get a full-time job. I have 2 other people that wants to employ me. I know I'm gonna have a lot of registration fees. I'm gonna have bonds and all this, so I need a good steady income. And like I explained to Ms. Cheryl Ranza earlier, I am planning on going to that abuse class in New Iberia. I just don't know if it's once a week or every other week. And that's $100 some a month. And that's one of my main things. Get that done, get everything legal, where I don't have to return to the system except as like a volunteer. And
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for your comments. Sounds good. Thank you for your comments. All right. Is the panel prepared to vote?
Yes. Excuse me, Mr. Scadlock. You've given a lot of thought to your plans, and it seems to me that you have progressed, and you have experienced some growth. I like what the chaplain had to say about you. But reading the record and listening to the ladies that I've listened to here today, I cannot vote to let you release early without the sex offender treatment. I know you say you're going to do it, you want to do it rather, in New Iberia, but you're going to be required to do that when you release wherever you go. But lacking the sex offender treatment, I cannot grant your parole today based on the strong law enforcement opposition and victim opposition that we've heard today. I do wish you well, Mr. Scadlock. Good luck.
Mr. Marabella?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Scadlock, I'm a little concerned, frankly, about your attitude. I mean, I don't believe that you really accepted responsibility for what you've done. And I don't believe you really understand what damage you've done to these young women. That's why the sex offender treatment program is so important that you do it. You've done a lot of good, positive things while you've been in prison, no question about that. But you're in prison for a specific crime, and I think our sex offender treatment program addresses issues that you need addressed. And until you complete that program, I couldn't vote for you. So my vote today also is going to be to deny.
It's 2 votes to deny. I'm also going to vote to deny your parole, law enforcement opposition, victim opposition, and need sex offender treatment. 3 votes to deny. Today, your parole's been denied.
What a disgusting, sorry excuse for a human being. A roach. A classic roach. You have to sit there and listen to that thing. You have to sit there and listen to that thing spew his little disgusting. I don't even know where to start with it. I just don't even know where to start. He goes by claiming, as if it's a defense anyways, it wasn't even my daughter. I mean, my wife was dating someone else. It's like 8 years old. And then he calls the father of the other victim a psychopath. Psychopath. Who do I hate on more? Who do we hate on more? Do we hate on more the priest who stand? I've never stood up for anyone. Well, you stand up for him? Shame on you. Shame on you. Great time to pick someone to stand up for. Someone who committed incest against their own daughter? Who has multiple victims? Who shows no regard, no remorse, no sense of humanity, and you pick now as a time to stand up? You think this person should ever minister? God forbid, have his own ministry? We just saw everything that's wrong with so many systems. Not to mention Kelsey shutting up the survivors as they were preaching. Saying, I'm so sorry, stopping them from talking. Meanwhile, he lets the roach go on and on and on. These type of hearings, I just can't. But then you know what pisses me off the most? It's the statute of Louisiana. You know that's the maximum sentence? Here it is, right here. Louisiana, the criminal charge of incest classified as a felony between an ascendant or descendant. This is father or daughter, right? We're just saying it, between a parent. The maximum punishment is 15 years, not more than 15 years. Why? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. We have more people in Louisiana prisons rotting away for possession with intent to distribute with life sentences. And meanwhile, you have a daughter crying, saying, how can it be that the system puts him away for just 15 years and he has the opportunity for parole after just a few? It's madness. It's insane. Anyone with common sense looks at this and becomes enraged. They say, how can this be? Who is the legislator that sits here and says, let me design a law that allows the maximum, no more than 15-year sentence for a father who does this to his daughter? But God forbid you steal a purse. You sell a dime bag to an undercover. You get caught 3 times in 10 years with possession with intent to distribute, regardless of how severe. You're getting locked away for life. There is no number of programs that this roach can take that will reform, that will change, that will guarantee that he won't do it again. None. Yet there is no doubt that that algorithm has him listed as a low risk score to reoffend, while the data that we have from the DOC says that the chance of recidivism for these type of offenses are the highest there are. The highest, statistically speaking. Yet they continue to say low risk score. Why? Because we're a bunch of sheeple. We're a bunch of lemons. We're a bunch of idiots. That's what we are. Let's leave it to the experts. Let's leave it to the PhDs and their low risk scores. Let's leave it to the attorneys and their laws. Let's leave it to the legislator. Open up your eyes. Change starts with knowledge. With that, I'll let you go.